Hello guys, how are you? Okay, welcome to 30 minutes. That's all. Conquer Biology SPM 2020. Alright, okay. So there you are. 30 minutes. That's all I need to make you a pro in paper 2 biology. Alright, okay. So today, what I'm going to share with you today. Okay, I'm going to share with you a question which I call it as the structure and function. So this is one question where, according to my analysis, it always appears. It every year. It's an every year occurrence. All right. So that is why I think that it is very very essential for us to tackle this type of question. Okay. So yeah. So without wasting much time, let's dive into it. Okay, so as usual, first things first, I will always start with analysis because the analysis helps you to see the real scenario of these questions, right? So this is the trend. This is the current trend, and yeah, I think the trend will be the same. Okay, so since next year we're going to have it's totally new syllabus, totally new format. I don't think so. There'll be any much changes in the final moments. No, I don't think so. Right? Okay. So, question structure and function is actually a question where usually maybe looking at the analysis, you think that it is not that much. Like only if you see, look at the 2015 only 4 marks, 16 7 marks, 2017 5 marks, 18 5 marks, and 19 4 marks. Okay, of course, it is not as significant as your quantitative negative statement questions, compare and contrast. Yes, I agree. Because most of the time, this question comes as separately the structure and the function usually they will come separately. So when they appear separately, structure separately asked and function separately asked, so that will be a very not that high level question. No, not even high level question. This is actually a mediocre type. That will be only in the knowledge level. All right, so they ask you what is it, they ask you what is it, no big deal, it's just knowledge level, very very basic thing. Okay, so if you know, you can do. But when they bring together the structure and function together, then it is a different level. So that will be more to understanding. So that will be like more to you and for you to not to say analyze. I can't use the word analyze. That's a bit very high level. It's like for you to understand why that particular structure took that form, why that particular structure specialized as such, why that particular structure differentiated as such to perform a specific function. So that is when the understanding comes in. So that is when the understanding comes in. That's when it becomes a step up the game to become a different level. So when they are asked separately, which is like a very common type of question that you can get in all the 5 structure questions and so on, that is different. Okay, this is when both of them are combined. So definitely there is a way of answering it. And if you do not know the way, and usually you will, even though they are not bringing that many marks, there is a high chance that you will miss it too. Okay, so that is the reason I have categorized the question as such and taking the pain to explain this to you. All right. Okay. Yeah. Then we have the adaptation. Okay, this question when they ask this one of these question, this is where the structure and the function has been properly separated as an answer. Okay, so look at that word in it. Explain to adaptation. So adaptation means it's actually the structural feature that enable the plants to live. So that is the function. So why did they undergo this severe changes, specialization and adaptation? Why did they undergo that? So that is because they want to perform a specific function. That is the reason. All right. Okay. Like for example, adaptation one, it has air sacs. So that is the structure that we're talking about. Not everything has S and has a, why this one has. So that is the structural feature. So the explanation is like to cause it to be light and it to be able to flow. So that is the explanation. So the second adaptation, it has a wide leaf. So that is the structural feature. All right. Then after that, you have the functional feature, which is the to increase the surface area for photosynthesis. So this one is not that hard. Okay. In fact, it can't even say that it's structural feature because the answer is has been properly separated. So it's very easy for the students. Just fill it in, fill it in, fill it in. Right. So this type of questions, I'm not worried. So this one, why I took it is just to give you an overview of what exactly we are looking at. Right. So this is when the questions are separated. Right. The next time, this is where the questions are worded together. So they asked, explain how the structure, so can you see the word structure in diagram 6.1 is adapted to increase the efficiency of the gaseous exchange. Maybe it's a bit small. Don't worry, all this I will put in the description box. All the slides I will put in the description box. So when you are ready, we have another nearly a month more to go for bio exam, 16th of March. So you can, it will be always on my YouTube channel. No worries. You can go anytime to check it out, but make sure you check it out. All right. So make sure you check it out at your own leisure. So all this will be in the description box. You no need to worry about that. Okay. So as usual, I've given the wrong answer. Why and why such answer cannot get you the marks? So this is the big no entry sign that I like to use, that to show that this is not how you should answer. Okay, so look at the answer. The student says, "Oh, it has a moist surface." That is true. That is true to a certain extent. And a large network of blood capillaries. That is true too. And one thick epithelium wall. That is perfectly true too. But this student cannot get marks. That is where you need to sit down and think what went wrong. Okay, the reason is very simple. The reason is very simple because he only satisfied one part of the question. The question says the structure. Okay, yes, there the moist is a structure, large network blood capillary is a structure, one thick epithelium wall is a structure, but where are the function? So this student failed to address the function. So that is why he cannot get the marks. You see, so what happens with the students in it? Whenever you see, oh, the moist surface is there, you all go word by word. You go and fight with your teacher. Teacher, I have the moist surface, you did not give me mark. Sometimes they say that moist surface, in this marking scheme it has, and you go and fight with the teacher. No, teacher, I should have, I deserve a mark. But unfortunately, what you all fail to realize is all this, not only the content is important, at the end of the day, the presentation, which we call as the technique, is another integral part of answering questions. All right. If you do not honor that, then most probably you are not going to get full marks. Okay. So that is why in bio nowadays, just sitting down and memorizing doesn't work anymore. Technique part is also very, very essential. Okay. So all right. Okay. So don't want to talk about that. Okay. Let's go to what is the correct answer. So you see, it's not much. I did not do much modification on the answers from what that is above. All I did is I just honored the question where they wanted the structure which is adapted to increase the efficiency. How can it help the function? So that is all I did. So when you honor the question, this is what you get. You get full marks. Okay. So that is why I always, even now I say the question is the most important thing. Okay. So alveolus has one thick epithelium wall. So gas can diffuse easily. So why they underwent all this trouble to form this structure? Why they underwent all this trouble to become one thick, not three cell, four cell, five cell? Why? So because they want to serve a purpose, they want to serve a function. So that is worth mentioning here. Okay. Again, the surface of alveolus is moist. Okay, that is actually a structural feature. So what is the functional feature? Why they are moist? Simply to have fun, is it? So no, that is because of the gas can always dissolve, then only they diffuse. That is one of the characteristics of gas. They will never diffuse when the surface is dry. They will only dissolve when the surface is moist. Okay, so that is the function. That is why they underwent all this trouble to serve that function. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is when the structure and the function, when you encounter this type of question, that means this is actually the structure and function, they are married. When they are married, we cannot separate them. They come hand in hand. Okay, so it's very, very important. Keep them together. So that is one thing. Okay, so I have a very, very unique type of question which might also come out. This question came out, and a lot of students, they do not know how to answer. Okay, even though they have the idea, but they do not know how to present. So this is actually a very unconventional. This is what we call as a hot question, where they are applying the knowledge of everyday, whatever that you've learned in bio, they are applying it in everyday life by connecting it to some things that is all around us and see whether you can apply that concept that you've learned to explain the thing. All right. Okay. A housewife uses coconut husk to plant an orchid as shown in diagram 3.3. So why the coconut husk is used to plant the orchid? So this is actually here, okay, you may ask, oh teacher, there's no structure word there, there's no function word there, there's no adaptation there. But what you need to understand is this coconut husk is actually not made to make it as the holder for this orchid. No, it is not made for that purpose. But why is it still can be used? That is the question. So what is the special characteristic? What is the special feature in that orchid that enables it to serve this function for that orchid? So simple. So again, this is what we call as structural and function question. Right? Okay. So it has a lots of air spaces, which is a structure. And the roots of the orchid, what is the function? So that the root of the orchid will be able to breathe, will be able to do the gaseous exchange. So that is the function. So that is why when you plant them there, they can live happily ever after. All right. And not only that, this coconut husk they can retain lots of water, they can retain a lot of moist, and being a herbaceous plant, water is very, very essential for them to maintain the turgidity of the cell. So that is why this is a perfect thing for you um, to modify, to serve as the holder for this orchid. Okay, so that is what you need to explain. Again, even though it is not worded as such, but if you encounter any questions like why is it modified as such, why is it adapted as such, then that means you have to categorize them as structural feature, functional feature, structure and function, married, they are couples. All right. Okay, this is another type of question where they show you in the form of a graph, right? So they show you in the form of a graph, and they ask you the first question. They ask you, yeah, this is actually the second question are the one that we need to note. The first question is a quantitative question. That is another different variety of question that we will deal later, or maybe we've dealt with it before. Describe the important feature of tropical. So can you see the word feature here? So when you have the word feature here, always remember you not only have to say what is the beauty of the tropical rainforest, what are the advantages or what is the greatness of it. No, you also have to say why it's like that. Okay, how is it like helping? Because they say the importance is the function. So that is where the functional feature comes. All right. Okay. So look at the answer. It receives rainfall. So that is the structure or the adaptation or the beauty or whatever it is. All right. So that is actually can be called as a structural part of it. Then, so what is the function? So the high moist and the high humidity is very, very conducive for wide variety of plants. So that is the function. All right. Then you have it has receives abundant light source throughout the year. That means all year around you are going to have fantastic light source. So that is what they are having. So how can it help the function? So this will help the plants to make maximum photosynthesis. Not every plants are blessed to be like this. It's all depending on their area. Like if it's there, you are in the Arctic, isn't it? And you are in the Arctic and you're facing winter. That is a worst place to live in as a plant, isn't it? So if you are in a temperate climate where you have 4 seasons, maybe out of like 12 months, maybe you won't be seeing light for like 2 3 months, right? But that doesn't happen to tropical rainforest. We have abundant of light source all year round. Right. Okay. So it also has relatively constant temperature. So when the temperature is like pretty much constant, there are a lot of things that you can do. So this can house a lot of high diversity of flora and fauna with very little extreme adaptation. Sometimes when these animals and plants live in a very extreme condition, they have to undergo a very extreme adaptation in order to survive. But that is not applicable here because we have relatively constant, beautiful, warm temperature. Okay, so that is why a lot of things can live here. That is why tropical rainforest is one of the they call it as the lung of the earth. They call it as one of the most, it houses the most abundant variety of diversity. So that is the reason. Okay, so yeah, moving on. Okay, so this is the final one. Okay, again, when structural feature or adaptation or the function, when these are separated, so these are only knowledge level questions. That means you can answer, you don't know, you cannot answer, end of story, no big deal, right? Okay, but when they come together, they are married. So this is when I use the word understanding. Actually, that is the level of the Bloom taxonomy, the second part of of our learning taxonomy. But then why I call it as merit is because the structural feature and functional feature, they are understanding in the level in the Bloom taxonomy, but they are they have to come hand in hand. All right. So that is why I see the analogy of getting married is like very suitable for this. All right. And not only that, another thing that you have to remember is when when an unconventional object has been modified to suit a certain function, then this can be applied in the same way too. Right? So when an object is modified to suit the function, then you have to treat it as with the same way as how you treat the structural and functional feature. Okay. All right. Okay. So again, thank you so much to those who are subscribed to me, like, and your positive comments are always a motivation to me. It's actually a sunshine to me. Okay. So yeah, keep on motivating me. Subscribe, like, and share so that I'll be more motivated to help you out. Okay, throughout this SPM 2020 biology journey. All right. Okay. Again, the final word: structural feature, structure, and function are married to each other. So remember this. If this question comes, structural feature, how is it adapted, and so on, remember what the teacher in Sari told you. Structure and function are married to each other. Please don't separate them. Okay? Please don't separate them. So this is how you need to, not to say remember, but yeah, how for you to to associate it. Okay, so they come hand in hand. All right. Okay, with that, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.